2009, I found myself and 3 colleagues in Lausanne, Switzerland. We were there at the headquarters of the International Olympic Committee, the IOC, to tell the 100-plus members that they should not pick Chicago as the host for the 2016 Summer Games. In 2009 in Chicago, it was all about the bid for the Olympics. The mayor was pushing it, and he had his best people on the 2016 organizing team. Major philanthropies gave millions, and many local news outlets were listed as sponsors. Community groups were pressured to come on board with a so-called community benefits agreement that promised jobs, affordable housing units, and more. Fear and intimidation were used as well. Many civic leaders were threatened and said privately that they thought pursuing the Olympics was a disaster, but that they dared not speak out. But not us. No Game Chicago was an all-volunteer group of over 25 citizens, some of whom had never organized anything before, and some who were experienced in social change work. 4 of us went to Switzerland. Myself, Tom Tresser, a grandmother who used the traveling name Rhoda Whitehorse, a 21-year-old organizer, Martine Macias Jr., and 1 secret member, someone who's part of the International Olympic movement and whose identity has never been made public. No Game Chicago asked the questions that no one was asking. With no office, no phone, and no budget, we did the research on past games and the deep debt incurred by cities and entire nations for the Olympics. We did the primary research that you would have expected our aldermen, academic institutions, policy shops, and so-called protectors of the environment and public interest to do, but didn't. So, No Games Chicago organized public protest rallies, marches, held dozens of town meetings, operated a well-researched website, and made over 75 appearances on local media. Our message was, this is the wrong project for the wrong city at the wrong time. On that June afternoon, all 4 finalist cities were in Lausanne, Switzerland, to make final pitches to the full IOC membership at their museum, located on a hill overlooking the beautiful Lake Geneva. We decided to go to Switzerland to bring our message of no thanks directly to the members of the IOC, which included sheikhs, princes, and even a couple of real-life princesses. We stood outside of the Olympic Museum, talking to members of the world press, handing out copies of our Book of Evidence, 150 pages of reprints from local newspapers documenting Chicago's corruption, incompetence, decaying infrastructure, and our more pressing priorities. We'd already delivered 125 copies of the book directly to the IOC the day before. We even met, secretly, members of the IOC. We were asked, "Who sent you?" We had to explain that in America, no one has to send you. While we were in Switzerland, back in Chicago, No Games co-founder Bob Quellos, along with spokespeople Francesca Rodriguez and Rachel Goldstein, engaged the local media. We followed up our June visit to Switzerland with a steady barrage of communications to IOC members, reinforcing and expanding on the messages we had delivered to them in Lausanne. Our strategy worked. On October 2nd, 2009, the IOC voted to eliminate Chicago from contention in the first round of voting in Copenhagen, Denmark. Our unprecedented visit to Lausanne had paid off. Chicago was spared a multi-billion-dollar disaster that would have destroyed public parks, privatized the city for 7 years, and left us in debt for decades. So who am I? No one special. I was part of a team. We asked a lot of questions. We pooled our collective wisdom. We dared to say no to City Hall. We did that, and you could too. But what do we do now? What do we do with the time, dollars, and opportunities that were left to us? That is the biggest question before Chicago right now.
Get up, stand up for your right.